First, could you say your name and then your title?
Yeah. My name is Jim Hayden. I am a graduate worker in the Department of English. I am a graduate instructor, so I teach courses, but I'm also a student in my own right.
Okay, so as a grad worker, what are your responsibilities? What do you do on a weekly basis?
So much. um, there's the teaching stuff in itself, which is, we say teaching, but it's like a lot more complicated than that. We have to not only do lesson prep, but we also have to do grading. We have to learn how to manage students in the classroom. So there's a lot. There's office hours and just so many things. The list goes on. So and that's just part of it, of course. Like there's also expectations as a student that you're going to conferences, that you're arranging panels. That in other words, you're professionalizing yourself so that you can actually get a job once you graduate.
Okay, so how much time per week would you say you dedicate to being a graduate worker?
Well, at this point, like with the unionization stuff, the majority of the hours of the week, this is well over like 70 hours a week I'm putting in. It's probably more, I would say I was probably putting in before all this started to happen, 60 to 70 hours just to get everything done. And after this, it's probably plus 80. Just in terms of not only doing the work we have to do, but now trying to make some sort of progress on becoming recognized as graduate workers.
Okay, so as it pertains to the union and CGW and the Foreman Graduate Rights, what are your duties, I guess, your responsibilities within that organization, not as graduate worker?
Sure. So CGW, Coalition of Graduate Workers, which is now our official union. So to start out with, when we didn't have a union, I was part of the organizing committee, which was essentially just a group of people who came together to figure out how can we organize a union, bring a union into being. For the time being now, we're about to have elections for our new president, vice president, but for the time being, I have an interim position on the committee, the officer committee. I am the financial officer, i.e. treasurer of CGW at the moment.
Okay, now what encouraged you to get involved with the movement outside of your work as a graduate?
Well, the real thing that encouraged me was August 2015, with 13 hours to go before our insurance ran out, and receiving that email that says, hey, guess what? No more insurance unless you can find it in 13 hours. So, I really wouldn't say it was any specific thing. Really, what made me want to get involved was the fact that this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. So many things that have been taken away: graduate student housing, daycare, stipend, wages, and then the insurance was sort of like the last straw. So it wasn't really, I would say, one thing. It was a culmination of a whole host of factors that the university has been taking away from graduate students.
Now, why do you think you deserve to be classified as an employee of the university?
Well, that's a funny question because the MU rules and regulations already classify us as that. We are listed as employees. We get tax returns. We pay taxes. So I'm really more confused how you couldn't qualify graduate worker as as an employee. How you could ever say that that's not an employee, that's just a student, as though those two terms are separable. Yeah.
Okay, so where do you see the movement heading in the future? Do you see the school recognizing the union and agreeing to collectively bargain with the students, or where do you see that going?
That's a really good question. Obviously we can never predict what the university is going to do. Our real hope here is that, 84% voted yes on unionization. And for the university to not recognize us now is essentially saying, well, 84% of graduate students don't matter, what they want here. But in terms of future progress, obviously, we also have a lawsuit posed against the university right now that will essentially force their hand to have to make a claim to either recognize or not, which could result in more court procedures, or it could result in recognition. But we're not really worried. We have a lot of the law on our side. We have great lawyers through the NEA. So in the future, I have no doubt that we're going to be a recognized union. It's up to the university now to decide how long it will be before we are.
That's enough. Thank you.